record, and then now we're good to go.
And then you just gonna cut this part back?
Yeah, like again, like if we start talking about something that's like worthy of keeping on, then we keep it. It's not like shit. I wish we were recording, you know.
Fair
so,
enough.
But yeah, speaking of harder stuff, I was gonna go to the fucking LCBO by my house. That fucking shit was closed on a fucking Monday.
Why?
I don't know. Wouldn't you want to be open on a Monday though?
I didn't even know that they closed on Mondays.
For the Monday
especially
blues?
during COVID. I didn't even know that they closed.
I thought they were open 7 days a week.
I want to know what time they fucking close at then.
I think they're closed on Mondays. That's it. Cheers.
Cheers. Which one did you go to? The one right by your house?
Yeah, right by my house, yeah. I could have stopped at the one at the highway, but I figured I thought I was running late.
No, there's no late.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Audrey's parents bought a Signal Hill Canadian whiskey.
Okay.
Dude.
Is that Newfie shit? Because isn't Signal Hill in Newfoundland? Or is that in...
You're asking the wrong guy.
Here's Canadian history for you, 101. Yeah. Where is that?
Yeah, no, I have no clue. But it was smooth as smooth gets. She goes, you want a drink?
It's Canadian whiskey?
Yeah.
Nice.
I said, yeah, I'll try some. So she gets a couple glasses. I'm like, you want ice? She's like, yep. So I get ice. I'm planning on drinking it on the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
She was going to make a mixed drink. But then I poured her one.
Yeah.
And then it was like shot and a half, whatever. So I go, I'm like, cheers. Right? I'm just going to sip on it.
Yeah.
Slammed it.
You did?
She did.
She just put it back.
I'm like...
So she can't sip on alcohol then?
I guess not.
I was going to ask you.
And then she made a mixed one after, but she made it with Gibson's. But that shit was fucking smooth.
Did it taste like rye or did it taste more like whiskey?
It tastes more like whiskey.
Because Canadian whiskey and rye, or at least it's all called Canadian whiskey.
But it's rye.
To me, it tastes more like rye. Whereas like American whiskey is like bourbon.
Yeah,
and shit.
whiskeys are so fucking...
They're all different.
They're so dumb. So again, like, there's certain whiskey that if it comes from like Ireland or whatever, it's fucking... It's
Irish whiskey.
Not even just like the name, I forget what it is. It's like, so it's so stupid. Like, and then there's only one type of whiskey that can come from this stupid fucking island.
Yeah.
Nobody can make it anywhere else. What the fuck? Yeah, I guarantee you somebody could make it somewhere else.
100%. They make fucking Corona in Quebec. That's a Mexican beer last I checked.
I watched a whole fucking...
Should that be on? Maybe the mic should be on for before we start.
No, I was just dropping down the gain. But yeah, no.
What is gain, by the way?
So like how sensitive the mic is to surrounding noises.
Oh, okay.
So like I can see here, like we've like here
we peaked.
We peaked. So the audio levels got clipped, which makes it sound terrible. So right now we're at like 18. If we got high somewhere around 3, like we don't want to really see the red. You want that room to move.
Grow.
As long as it doesn't go over 0, we're okay. But
0 is bad.
0 could be bad.
And we're in negative right now?
Yeah, we're good.
I know nothing about this shit.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know a whole lot, but I know enough to get us by.
Live from the garage. It's 2 C's in a pod. How do we do this?
Yeah. I don't know. I think just like we just gotta continue talking from here. Like it's already started.
Yeah. I did have a question for you.
Sure.
Because you asked me about this. I'm just going to preface this for our 3 listeners at home. You asked me about this. It was mid-COVID.
Okay.
And it was like March. Okay. I think we were on one of those video chat things with like Rob and our buddy.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you want to do a podcast? You had to set up. So what are you hoping to get out of this? Because I don't know either. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's fun.
I think so. Back in... Oh my God.
It sounded more of a serious question than what it is. I'm just...
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. But like back I don't even know when, like, probably 5, 6, maybe even 7 years ago, guy I watched on YouTube did a lot of like photo related videos, like how to actually use your fucking camera.
Yeah.
Started a podcast, and
You're a photographer, by the way, right?
a little bit. He started a podcast, and it wasn't about like, it was probably like 2-3 months in of his podcast. He did a podcast with his dad. And it wasn't like the conversation he had with his dad was emotional and all that shit. Yeah. Was a little bit, but like, he's like, after his dad passes, he has that to go back and look on.
Got it.
So I thought, like, I've always thought, like, having...
It's a cool idea.
Just to sit down, like, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be somebody I like.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You know, like, just to sit down and have something to look back on.
Yeah, I agree.
And let's be honest, we talk about some dumb shit.
We talk about some really stupid shit. This is not where you come to get informed about anything.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I thought it was an exciting idea. And I don't know why, because I don't think either of us have really anything to offer too much, other than we're both a pair of fucking morons and we just sit here and talk. Yeah. So if what I would like out of this, the main thing is just for us to keep with it and keep going with it, even if we get like 3 downloads a week, which I think
really
we will.
don't care.
I don't care because I don't care how many it does. Because we wouldn't be doing this, because if we're fucking naive enough to think we're going to break into the podcast game at podcast 1.1 millionth.
Yeah,
we're pretty stupid.
Yeah, well, but again, you never know what's gonna fucking happen, right? But like, again, I think this for me is just, I don't know. I
think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, like again, it doesn't always have to be me and you each week. It can be me, you, Raw.
Exactly.
Me, you, and the wives.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
it can be a lot of things.
Your parents, my parents.
Yeah, just change it up.
Right, like
have some fun conversations.
Yeah. So
yeah, and this thing will also turn into whatever it's going to turn into. If we keep going with it, like it could turn into us fucking reading clickbait articles and just fucking you know what I mean? Like it could turn into anything.
Mid-roll ads, like who knows?
Whatever. Yeah.
But speaking of the podcast, so I was trying to think of like ideas for a logo.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Obviously, so I'm showing them a picture of our little logo I put together. 2 caricatures. Jack
Nicholson and Harrison Ford, by the way.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that.
Neither one. Do either of those even... Nicholson. Yeah, I was going to say, there's not even a C in any of those names.
No, that wasn't the point. It was just like to have the visual there.
That's a really funny idea.
So like I thought we could do that. Like I can always talk to Steve. He does drawings and stuff. So
because that's more like a caricature right now, that image that you were showing.
Yeah, so I would see if he could do stuff more like that.
I'm cool with that.
Like cartoonish, and again to like throw our faces out of proportion.
I'm very
even though they don't really
prefacing things. Steve is a tattoo artist friend of yours. You're like, who the fuck is Steve? Steve is a tattoo artist.
Yes,
who's also a good artist.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, no, I still can't get over the LCBO's closing on Monday.
I don't understand how that's even legal, first of all, especially in the time of COVID.
Like, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Monday blues, baby.
You can't close the liquor stores.
Especially on Monday.
Because I
don't they know we're doing a fucking podcast
today? I know that at the start of COVID, they had restricted hours.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want everybody did. But then they expanded those, and I thought they were going back to regular hours, which I thought regular hours was 7 days a week. Not necessarily 24/7, but at least 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They just had shorter hours on the weekend.
Sundays, I think, was their short day. Sundays and Mondays, I thought. Like before the LCBO, I remember it used to be closed on Sundays.
Before COVID.
Also, like before we were drinking age.
Yeah, but no, because I always thought, well, it's hard to say because like the one by my place always closes early. It's closed at like 6 on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, the one on Bayview was open till 10. That's just on the other side of the town from where you're at.
When you moved to the townhouse, like I'd always go there because it was open later.
Always open, and it was open, I think, until 10 on Sundays as well.
Really?
Now, I'm sure they probably run numbers based on like, okay, because they track all their sales. So if their sales, like the times that they're open past 6 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays, aren't worth them keeping the employees in there, then they're not going to be open.
Obviously.
Just based on those numbers.
Obviously.
So obviously there's a lot more degenerate drunks on the other side of town from you than there is by you. Although at one point there was a fuckload of degenerate drunks near you.
Yeah, when we were
Right by our high school. The guy that people that live above people that live above fucking strip mall plazas, to say one, are generally degenerate drunks.
Yeah.
They like to scream at you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, I guess as an introduction, my name's Chris. What's your name?
CJ.
There you go.
Also Chris,
also
but
Chris.
I go by CJ.
Yeah. And this is going to be 2 season a podcast. Live from the garage.
Live from...
Currently.
Yeah, it could change, but
once winter comes around, we might be live from the basement. We'll find out.
Depends on how cold it gets in here. Oh, man.
Yeah. This is... hopefully next week it's much more cleared out. We're off all of next week, so...
Buddy, we're here, once a week?
Yeah, probably once a week.
A couple hours, whatever.
Also, just for anyone who is listening, we're planning on putting these out once a week. At least.
I think Wednesdays, right?
Probably on
Every
Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Every Wednesday we'll probably have one out. We may stack record them for weeks that we're off. Next week I'm on holidays.
If
so
there
we're
is news in there, it might be a little delayed.
It's going to be severely delayed. And it's going to sound like we're talking from 3 weeks ago, because we are most of the time. And I don't foresee us changing that rhythm, because it's a good way for us to just keep it going.
Buddy, life happens.
And there's not going to be much demand.
This isn't our fucking full-time job.
No. What do you do for a full-time job? Just
professional photographer, shoot architecture and product photography.
And you're a teacher.
Oh, and I'm a teacher. I always forget that I do teach part-time at a college, so at the photography program.
It's amazing what people turn out to be in life.
You could have asked me.
Teacher was never been on your list
5 years ago, and I would have said no.
No, you would have never been a teacher.
Because I was teaching at the summer camp.
Yeah.
And that was to kids.
Yeah.
That's not teaching.
That was with fucking disposable Kodak cameras.
Summer camp, I just trying to make the kids have some fun, teach them a few things. Never did I think I'd be teaching at a college.
No.
I went through the program.
Yeah, you taught at that.
Yeah, it's not like some different school. The teachers brought me in. Yeah,
it's good though. That's education. I'm an electrician, by the way. That's the most exciting thing I have to bring to this conversation. Lowly electrician. I don't know. I guess the thing about you teaching that program is that you enjoy photography.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's your career.
Now,
you did it all throughout high school and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did.
By the way, we're almost 30, just for reference.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense that you would do something that you actually like. So if they're going to pay you to teach something that you enjoy,
yeah.
Do you find it helps you understand photography better, or are you just it's basic and you're just running through it, or do you find that it helps you a bit?
So because I'm teaching the first years, it's very basic, but at the same time, I'm always looking to teach them what's actually practical when they leave. Even though it may be some of them don't quite grasp it, and don't get me wrong, maybe only a handful of the entire graduating class is actually going to work in the field.
And also, this is probably just a course for some people.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's their parents want them to go to college, and
so what's
the easiest one? And I'm going to tell you right now, don't choose photography.
I don't think it's photography.
Not very easy. Choose what's the regular business?
There's a lot of general programs.
Yeah, just do a general business thing. You can't go wrong with taking a business at the end of the day. But there's so many kids that just take it because that's their parents wanted them to go to college. And I was one of them, but I actually enjoyed it. I didn't want to do school.
Yeah.
Thankfully that I'd like to say my the actual class load was very limited. I didn't feel like I was in class all the time. We were in the studio. Sure, my classes were minimum 3 hours long. They never went to 3 hours. They were only had the 3 hours in case you needed that additional help with whatever you're doing.
Which probably helped for someone who didn't want to be in school in the first place. So the less it felt like actual school, the better probably.
Yeah, like I spent majority of my time in the studio. I had 4 or 5 friends that
Correct.
like I actually wanted to talk
out
to
with.
and hang out with. And I would get them. I lived on residence my first year. I lived 2 minutes away from the school my second year.
Mm-hmm.
I would get them to sign out the studio. I would sign it out, let's say at 11. They would sign it out till at 12. Nobody was there. I don't think you could sign out the studios from 1 till 7.
Yeah.
Well,
It was just
they're not going to check up on me when I'm in there.
You can run over.
So I would be in there all night till 2, 3 in the morning and then wake up to go to class the next day.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because at work, I have apprentices. And I understand all of this stuff. Like I've been through the trade school.
Yeah.
I know how to work. I know how to install everything. But I found that when they ask me questions, I'm not good at explaining it because I almost have to act like a teacher occasionally. And then I just know how to do the shit. Yeah. So when someone asks me like why or how, I don't really know why or how. I just know it because I would ask questions in trade school and shit like that. But then I'm like, oh, fuck, now I actually have to think about this. Yeah. And I find it actually helps me understand the things a little bit better, even as rudimentary as they are. Because now I actually have to explain, like, this is why we do these things in this procedure, as fucking simple as running conduits are.
Yes. So this is my
or basic theory or whatever.
I think this is my 3rd year teaching. At least my 3rd year teaching. So last year, I've been teaching the image processing class, which is Photoshop editing and image manipulation. My first year, I actually taught the photography class, and that's like how to use your camera, what shutter speed does, aperture, ISO, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That one was hard because like kids are like, well, why does it do that? And it's like, well, because it does.
Yeah, like, that's not a satisfactory answer as a teacher. Yeah. Like when I would ask a question in class, I'm expecting to get an answer, not, well, that's just how it is. Because like there was a lot of questions I would ask, like, why is it this way and why is it that? And they would clearly explain why it's that way. And like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. But if they're like, oh, it's just fucking, that's how it works. It's like, the way you're not teaching me right now.
Yeah. No, so that was probably the biggest thing. Like, because I never really paid attention to, I didn't really care the technical side of things. Like, I don't care that if I shoot at aperture 2.8, that my background is going to be all blurry. Like, I just know that if I shoot at 2.8, it's going to be blurry. But if I shoot at 22, I'm going to see everything
crystal clear.
Whatever's in the picture. Yeah, it's all going to be sharp. I never really cared about that, but some people do. And so, like, to understand and how to explain that was a bit of like, okay, like
I've never been asked this. I just understand it.
Yeah. So like, again, and like same with ISO, like that's how sensitive your camera sensor is to light. So with the digital age, the higher ISO number, the more sensitive it is to light. Mm-hmm. But you introduce what's called digital noise into the image, and what back in the day used to be film grain.
Okay.
So it's like so all that stuff.
You can artificially put that in now.
Yeah, that's what I teach in Photoshop. But
thank God for Photoshop.
Definitely thankful I'm teaching Photoshop this school year, being all online, and I don't have to like do any like camera live demonstrations, or even dealing with kids that have like, because like the school is all Canon based and Apple based for that sense, but
Canon is in the camera?
Yeah, Canon cameras.
So they specifically say we only work on Canon cameras?
No, they don't work. Like, you can buy whatever, but we recommend Canon because I'm pretty sure Canon sponsored the school.
Got it.
Actually, I know for a fact they did.
100%.
Yeah, 100%
This podcast is not brought to you by Canon, by the way.
No, it definitely is not. But they have an equipment sign-out room, all Canon. All Canon lenses. There's a couple extra Canon like bodies, like the actual like camera.
I guess their idea is let them practice and use our stuff, and then if they step out, what are they going to buy first? A Canon.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Yeah, so we always recommend, because a lot of kids don't have a camera until they come to the program. So if they get a Canon, they have access to all those lenses, which you're paying $40 plus dollars depending on the equipment you want to rent from a rental studio per day. And it's like, okay, well, now you have that at your own hands and you can sign it out for 3 days to a week.
Yeah.
And like for me, that was great. Like I tried every lens they had.
Yeah. I play around.
I'm pretty sure I was the only one that signed out their lighting kit my second year.
Which is good, which actually shows that you cared.
Yeah, well, I wanted to. I think I taught myself more than what I actually learned there in a sense because I did so much more.
Yeah.
I was always in the studio, always signing out equipment out, always like making up shoots for myself. Like another tattoo artist of ours, Matt, who used to own the tattoo shop, I did a portrait session with him just cause. I'm like, dude,
come in.
Do you mind modeling? Not at all. He got the images. I got to play around.
It's perfect.
I did a whole photo shoot with all our friends. I shot Audrey, Paul's sisters, Tatiana, Paul's old girlfriend Mel. Like I shot a whole bunch of people back in the day just to shoot.
Just to keep practicing.
Yeah. I didn't care if you were a professional or not. No. I just need to play around.
Well, that's good. That actually showed that you gave a shit and wanted to get better. Yeah, you actually cared enough to get better. Are cameras like I know absolutely nothing about any of this shit. Antonia knows, my girlfriend, wife, doesn't she took photography and shit like that. She gets it a little bit. Like a Canon versus a Kodak versus a whatever, like a higher grade. Is there that much of a difference between them? Like I'm just thinking of golf. Like a driver from any of the name brands are all going to be good drivers. Yeah. And the difference that me and you would notice, or because we're not professionals, would be negligible. So with cameras, as a professional, is there that big a difference between the top brands? Or is it just a matter of how you're using them? No, so your main brands are Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Fuji. Did I say Kodak?
You did. Kodak hasn't had a big part in the photography game in a while.
I don't know why. That just shows my extent of the knowledge of photography. Is I keep going back to Kodak because I was used to those snap, wind up and click.
Actual film cameras.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because Kodak made film.
Is that what they do? That's what they make?
That was their
thing. Yeah. So they didn't actually make like high-end cameras. They just made film.
I don't know. I think they made cameras, but it was their main business was just film. Like they were like the top film people.
So they probably actually physically filmed movies and all that.
They definitely. I feel like they could have broke into the whole digital age thing, but I think they were stubborn and thought that it wouldn't take.
There's no such thing as a digital age. They never saw that coming.
Yeah, right.
Or like taxi cab companies. It came Uber out, won't replace us.
It started happening, and a lot of companies were like, "It's not going to last. It's not going to last." Well, okay, where's film now? You can't. There's like here and there, just for you guys all at home. The lights just went out in the garage. But there was a lot of companies that thought the digital age would never take, and then look at us now.
Yeah,
you can't even find places, or it's hard to find places to get film developed if you're still shooting film, or you have to buy all the chemicals yourself and do it at home.
Yeah, there's a million, like that story's been told by a million different companies in a million different industries, like that refuse to. Like, this isn't going to replace us. We've been in business for 100 years. What could happen?
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, like
film's not going anywhere. No. It'll still be around.
I mentioned taxi companies, but it's everything. It's like power tools. Or like, oh, you're not going to need. Why would we need a drill when we got this guy over there that can hand crank it? It's going to take him 6 hours to do what this drill will do in 3 minutes. Like, that's a horrible example. But I'm sure there was someone that was like still holding out. Was like, no, I prefer Josiah to sit there and drill it by hand.
The only thing, like, so I don't think taxi companies will ever go anywhere, just in the sense that there's like a place that you can call. Like, you don't have to, like, you can walk into a building and be like, yo, can you call me a cab? You can't go in and be like, yo, can you call me an Uber?
Yeah, taxi companies, I don't think will ever go around, but I think they did miss the boat. and I'm only speaking on the experience
100%.
in Toronto, is they missed the boat on modernizing their company and the way that they do business.
Yeah.
Like when Uber came to Toronto, the way that the taxi cab, like the biggest company, Bex, decided to deal with it was instead of creating an app or trying to be a better service, all they did is they took them to court, which they ultimately lost. And so instead of trying to improve their business, they're like, well, like, this is your only plan? Like, what's your plan B?
Yeah.
That's what they did. They took him to court. They're like, no, they lobbied the government, like, we can't let Uber in. It's going to take jobs, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, eventually it wins because why wouldn't it? Be stupid not let a business in. But I don't understand in that time. Like, I just want to understand what people's logic is to go from, okay, you know what? We'll just take them to court and they're not allowed to exist. So we're allowed to just keep fucking having a shitty taxi cab company, and we're not going to modernize. Like, were they that arrogant that they didn't have a plan B, or are they that stupid they didn't have a plan B?
I'm going to go with it's a little bit of both.
Probably a bit of both.
I'm definitely going to go with arrogance.
Yeah,
for sure, but also stupid. Like, really?
Yeah, it probably is both. I'm sure it's like that for every industry that's like watch something pass them by. It's like, no, we're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to win. We've been around forever.
Yeah. They're not going to take over. Next thing you know,
Uber,
bye-bye.
Yeah, Uber, Lyft. The funny thing is in like Uber is not everywhere in Ontario for anyone that's listening because we like to live life stupidly here. So in Peterborough, small town.
Now, mind you, Ontario is massive.
Ontario is gigantic, and its
population dies down pretty quick
very fast.
Once you get out
very
of
fast.
Toronto.
But to that point, a city like Peterborough, I think, is like probably 100,000 people.
And it's only an hour out of Toronto.
Yeah.
Hour 20.
An hour east of Toronto. They don't have Uber. Do you know why?
They got nothing.
Do you know why? Because their mayor has a share in the taxi cab company. So that's why they don't have Uber. So in order to solve, so their version of, instead of taking Uber to court, their version is like Uber's not allowed because corruption is our solution to limiting Uber's ability in this town.
What?
Yeah, Uber's not available.
I don't understand how people get away with that shit.
I was there just before Christmas for my aunt and uncle's 20, Stephen and
I was just in Peterborough.
Yeah, and we were staying at the hotel, and we had to go to like the Golf and Country Club because that's where the event was being held. And we had to take we went for dinner in the hotel beforehand, and we're like, we can just call an Uber. She's like, the waitress is like, no, you need to call this taxi company, and gave us the whole history as to why Uber's banned, and it's purely because of corruption. And I don't understand how people let that shit happen.
I don't understand that.
It doesn't. I don't even know how that's legal. Like,
it's.
I know nothing about the legality system. It obviously is.
It's
because I think part of now I'm starting to overthink this. So I think when Uber came to Canada, because everything comes to Canada late, because again we live under monopolies.
Life dangerously.
Yeah, and by dangerously we just prefer to have monopolies as opposed to actual good business.
Yeah.
So I think when the agreement was when they came to Canada or Ontario I think Ontario specifically is they would allow individual municipalities to vote on whether they wanted Uber whether Uber was a good fit for their town or not. Which means that if you're the mayor of Peterborough and you own a taxi cab company, you can ban Uber allegedly. I should also state that because this was told to me by a waitress who was very nice, but I also never went back and researched this for myself. So this could all be hearsay, and someone could be in Uber right now in Peterborough going, "You're a fucking actual idiot," because all of what you said is not true. But that said, I think it's true. And I know that at least in December, I could not get an Uber because it was not available in that region yet.
Well, to go off of not getting an Uber, so we tried to Uber Eats because we're like, we don't know what
we don't have Uber Eats in this town.
Dude,
but we have Uber.
It wasn't that late.
But we have Uber.
I'm telling you, it was maybe, we'll say 11 o'clock at the latest. We're leaving this place, going back in.
This is in Peterborough?
Yeah. So we were in Norwood, leaving, going into Peterborough where our hotel was.
Small town to small town.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm in the car, Audrey's driving, and I'm trying to see what's on the Uber Eats.
Nothing.
Currently unavailable.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is right here.
I'm like, okay, well, maybe we're just not close enough. Open it back up when we get closer. Dude, currently unavailable. Yeah. I'm like, are you serious? Then the next morning we went to Cora's. we saw 3 or 4 people pick up food from Cora's. I'm guessing it was like Skip the Dishes
or DoorDash or
something like that, but I don't think they have Uber Eats.
So the Uber Eats portion of Uber is apparently a different entity, which I don't understand at all, because we have Uber in the small town that I live in.
Yeah.
But we don't have Lyft and we don't have Uber Eats. Now, I would have thought if you got Uber in your town, Uber Eats would automatically be a part of it.
Yeah.
But apparently that is not the case. We don't have...
You know what, though? There might be...
And I don't know what the reasoning is. I'm sure it's worth a lookup.
There's probably more...
It just logically doesn't make sense. Like, I can call an Uber right now, but I can't get a fucking...
McDonald's?
Yeah, I can't get Whack Arnold's delivered to me. Not that I probably should, but...
Still, it's just nice to know that you can get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
But... it's gonna probably have to do with like food. Oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Not restrictions, but like laws, just to make sure, like sanitation, and like they probably have to go through shit to make sure that they can sustain it, right? They also got to have the business for it. Like it is a smaller town,
but we have DoorDash.
Oh.
Which I think like most towns have, like usually all three, like Skip the Dishes, DoorDash.
So that's got to be on Uber Eats. That or because like again, like you can Uber Eats, McDonald's and everything. You guys got that up here.
Or if the system is so antiquated that literally you need town approval for every single individual thing, then crazy. Maybe there hasn't been a town vote on Uber Eats, then Lyft, then Skip the Dishes.
That keeps getting held off.
Yeah, because our mayor. Our mayor doesnm like Lyft. He prefers Uber. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Anyways, to cycle back on the cameras, there's really no difference. Like between all the top brands, they all make the same. They all make the same stuff. The biggest thing you're going to notice is the menu systems and lens variety. So the amount of lenses Canon and Nikon have compared to Sony or Fuji. Like it's gonna, like, Fuji and Sony don't have the amount of lenses Nikon or Canon have because they've been around since day one.
Now, do they have other features that would, like, you would want on them as opposed to Canon, or would you just generally stick with like a Nikon or Canon? Or like, would you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you would balance back, like, although, like, let's say fucking Fuji doesn't have this aspect that Canon does, but you would like it for this reason because it has this aspect, or is that just not the case?
That is definitely the case.
Okay.
But again, the cameras are so close together. So Sony's are all mirrorless. So that just means when you look through the viewfinder, you literally see what the sensor is going to capture. Light, dark areas, that's how it's going to look.
Okay.
Whereas if you look through a Canon, there's literally a mirror that drops down. You look through the viewfinder, it shows you through the mirror. So you just see what your eye sees.
Okay.
When you take the picture, that could be completely different. So that meaning Sony's cameras are smaller because there's less moving parts.
Less shit going on.
But again, like, they're all the same. Like, there's really no bad choice. And there's companies out there that make adapters so that you can put a Canon lens on a Sony camera, and honestly, you can't go wrong. But it's just because the school has the Canon sponsorship that we recommend Canon.
Okay.
And honestly, their menu system is probably the easiest to walk through.
Like, pretty foolproof?
Yeah. You got to kind of be an idiot to not be able to navigate your way through it.
Like, push this button, take a photo.
Literally hit menu button.
And now you're at the menu?
Scroll over. And
it's a camera for me.
Everything. It's color coded nicely. Like, it's perfect.
I was looking at the weed plants the other day, and they all have seeds in them.
Actually, I want to check them out before I leave.
Yeah, come have a look. Like, they're doing well. They started blooming a couple weeks ago.
I have no idea what I'm looking at, other than I'm looking at.
I mostly don't either. Other than I was at my cousin's house on Saturday, and his got hit by pollen, so now his has seeds. So how this was explained to me, because I don't know this and I'm not a botanist. If they're female, they will produce the THC in the bud and stuff like that, but they can get pollinated by males through the air, and then they'll make seeds and drop seeds. Once they start making seeds, they stop making THC in weed. So now If your plant gets hit by seeds, it's pretty much useless.
But okay, so you don't get THC, but can you get like CBD out of it?
I don't know. I'm fucking not a hemp farmer. But
Totally understand.
This is also my first year of doing this. But we have from Woodbine all the way over to McCowan. So 5 blocks and hundreds of acres between us is all weed fields now. Hemp, CBD fields. I don't know what the fuck they're growing.
Really?
Yeah, and weed apparently can like pollinate up to like however far the wind blows. So like 20 miles, like ridiculous.
Stupid.
And literally from where we're sitting right now to Woodbine is less than a kilometer, and there's a field right there.
I didn't know
so
that.
I'm pretty sure I fucked my whole crop by growing it outside. Because that would happen to my cousin.
Like,
he had hundreds of plants.
Do you really want to grow it in the house?
No, I don't. I'd rather grow it outside.
Now, what if you grew it in the garage?
Well, then it's the same as growing in the house. I'd have to set up lighting and all that shit.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking more smell.
Same shit. No,
I was going more off of smell.
Yeah, no, that's the reason I don't want it in the house. Yeah. One, we don't really have the room for it to grow a bunch of weed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the smell is a huge factor. Like, I'm pretty sure when we're going to let it go and see what happens in a couple weeks, but it's showing signs that there's seeds coming, which sucks a lot.
So what does a seed look like?
It literally looks like a little like testicle at the bottom of the flower. And then like there'll be more and more. It looks like they have warts.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like genital
they
warts.
got the herpes.
Yeah, they got the hurt. That's literally what I said to him on Saturday, because he showed me, he's like, look, this one just got hit. He kept one at his place. He moved a couple to his parents. Because last year he had a couple hundred plants legally with a medical license.
Yeah.
And his neighbor had 90 acres straight across the street. And he was growing some inside. They got fucking whacked with pollen too. He was like looking up like pollen screens and stuff like that. Shit like that. Doesn't matter.
I was going to say, I don't
Yeah,
think
it's so fine. It's like, it's invisible. It's like air.
You put it in a fucking glass case.
Yeah, he was also telling me today that he heard of people like even when they grow it inside, like just coming in and it's on their clothes and they accidentally pollinate their plants.
Yeah.
Even if they're feminized plants, like they're females the whole way, just like that little bit will fuck them.
Now, I don't know 100% on the laws of weed here in Canada.
You're allowed 4 plants per house.
Per household.
Per household.
Okay, so that was my question.
Yeah, because I think they thought
I knew it was 4 plants, but I think
they thought it through pretty well, because if they went 4 plants per person, people would be growing them for their 7-year-old. Like, it's for like people would have like their whole backyards would just be weed.
No,
right?
I totally get that.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
But you're allowed 4 per household. And so next year, I think I'm going to put, I was planning on anyways, I was going to put some up at my dad's cottage, because his back area, it's sun all day long.
Yeah.
They'll get gigantic. And I'm pretty sure there's not a couple hundreds of hemp growing nearby up there, because it's all forest.
Well, you never know.
But the chances are significantly less.
Yes, true. It is pretty dense forest area.
Yeah. A guy like... So if you watch now, like anytime you're going up a side street where there's like cornfields and shit like that, just keep your eyes out, because I've noticed pot everywhere now.
It's like in between each corn, they drop a corn seed, they drop a fucking weed seed.
Yeah, it's like crazy. A guy at work said, tongue in cheek, half kidding, he's like, the government's probably planting them everywhere. It's just so they can kill all the household crops. So you have to buy off them. I'm like, fuck.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because now if every household in theory, or like let's say every third household, like the amount of weed that I was growing this year, like that was probably going to be close to a lifetime amount of weed for the amount of weed that I smoke. Yeah. It would have lasted me well over a year, couple years, and I would have been giving most of it away. Like I would not have even had to think about buying weed
You would have to, what? Can you freeze it?
You can buy humidity packs for it.
Yeah.
And
it's like, how long is it actually going to last?
I don't know.
Because that's the thing, right? Like
more weed connoisseurs, weed connoisseurs would know a lot better than me. But yeah. I've had weed that like I haven't done anything with, just left in a mason jar, and it's good months later.
Sure.
Like now, it's probably not as potent. I don't know. Again, not a connoisseur, but you can buy these humidity packs, and it'll keep it good forever. Like you put one in, 6 months later, put a new one in.
Okay.
Like I think it'll go pretty much forever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's like a humidor for your cigars. Like they keep them at a good temperature and humidity, and it should be fine.
Yeah. I almost fucking bought.
Like I was probably going to get like a pound. Like I was looking to get a pound of weed off this.
Oh, I would imagine.
I think I smoke a lot of weed, but I think the last year, like we smoke like 3 or 4 ounces. So
How many ounces in a pound?
that's definitely worth a Google, but I think I'm gonna say a number that's probably wrong. 16 or 28.
I was gonna say like 12
ounces.
That's a dozen.
16 ounces.
16?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I smoked a quarter pound last year
Yeah.
between me and another person.
Yeah.
And also, anytime we went to the cottage, we rolled extra for everyone. Like we smoked a lot of people. So,
Yeah, there was like
and I think 3 or 4 ounces is probably way too high. Now that I say it out loud, I think it was.
You got to
like,
think too, though, right? Like,
but I also
again,
know people that smoke fucking an ounce a month.
No, I know
Which
fucking.
is fucking crazy to me.
I used to know people that did a lot more than that.
It just sounds so time consuming to smoke that. Like you'd have to be smoking weed all day. I think.
Literally, or
when you're done your job, you're just smoking till you go to sleep.
Yeah,
just ripping bong after bong after bong.
I knew people like that.
Yeah, I work with a guy now who got 9 ounces, I think, from his brother for Christmas, and we were working in March or April, and he was almost done.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I think he gave 1 ounce away, so he smoked almost an ounce a month at that point.
I knew a guy that would smoke,
and he's totally functional. He's totally fine. He's not high during the day.
Yeah.
But like
that's what he does when he goes home.
We get home at 4, and he goes to bed at 10. He's smoking weed for 6 straight hours, which seems exhausting to me. But I could also come home at 4 and drink until 10 constantly, and that doesn't seem as exhausting.
Yeah, but
it's still technically the same thing.
But to drink, are you crushing a beer every like 15 minutes?
No, but if you were sipping on like whiskey or if you had a mixed drink, like you're getting drunk after the first couple.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is like, so a lot of guys that go home and smoke bowl after bowl after bowl, you got to think they're probably hitting a bowl every 20 minutes to smoke that amount of weed.
Depends on their piece and stuff. Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
Somewhere in there. But like to go home and say you drink from 4 to 10, you may have 2 glasses of whiskey, whether it's straight up or not.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is people that could go home and from 4 to 10 drink a case of fucking beer.
Or a fucking bottle. Yeah, definitely.
Or a bottle,
but
sure.
You know, like there's, to say you go home and smoke, I think it's a little different to say you go home and smoke dope, like from 4 to 10. Like that's a shit ton of weed you're smoking.
Yeah, but you could like...
How fast do you smoke a joint? It doesn't last very long.
It's all relative because like... if I smoke a joint, I'll light it up. I'll probably take like 2 or 3 hits. Put it out for a bit. And then circle back to it in like half hour, an hour. But some people can just sit there and they'll smoke a joint in their face and they're fine. Like it's all different. Whereas like I put this beer back in about 10 minutes.
And I just finished mine.
Yeah, you just finished yours. And I could have had 3 more in that time frame.
Yeah.
Right? And I would have been fine. Where some people sipping on that pace that you've been drinking that beer.
You know what though? It's because I can't fucking drink beer anymore.
I know. It's
bad. I don't know what it is. Dude.
Do you want something else? Because I'm going to go in for a drink.
Yeah, I'll have a glass of whiskey. We're going to take a 5-minute pee break. We'll be back. All right. And we're back.
We're back with a glass of whiskey and 2 dogs.
Yeah, a couple glass of whiskeys, couple dogs. One's 13. I should say I used to fall asleep on him back in high school.
Yeah, these are my parents' dogs.
Passed out on the couch. He was my pillow.
He was everyone's pillow.
He is now 13.
Yeah, we used to drink on the back deck, and there was a couch just as you came into the living room from the back deck. And that dog would sit there and sleep. And most people would come in, either take a piss or to pass out.
People being me.
Yeah, would come inside, lay on the couch. There's a dog there, sleep on the dog, wake up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, he's 13. He's an old boy. And he's about to fucking tear this thing down.
That's all right.
Yeah, they're going to sniff around on the relax.
Yeah. It's all new. It's all new.
Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We're talking about cameras, Uber, fucking shit. I can't remember where we left off though.
No, it doesn't matter.
Really doesn't.
How many episodes are we going to get downloaded this episode, not including me and you? Like, how many downloads do you think we get this week?
Huh.
Did I word that fucked?
A little bit.
How many?
I thought you meant...
What is your prediction for downloads this week?
This week?
Yeah, I'm going to say 3, including you and I downloading the episode.
I wasn't even going to download it.
I'm going to listen to it because I want to hear how annoying I am.
Okay.
Just to see.
I know I do swear a lot, so like again, I'm teaching again, so like that's one thing that gets under control around September.
I gotta watch my swearing big time.
Like again, but it's not a big deal. Like
no, we can swear. This is the internet.
Yeah, well, and this is our fucking show, and
exactly.
if you don't fucking like it,
then you don't have to fucking listen.
Then don't
How's that for swearing?
Fucking download our episode. Go. But.
No, I mean, I'm going to listen to them periodically.
See, for me, I don't have to download it, so it's already. I already have it.
We should say that you're in control of all the sound stage.
I am the producer.
All right, so that's
co-host.
2 downloads.
You know what? I'm gonna go 5.
5?
It just being that because I told my old man about it. Okay. My mom knows about it.
Okay.
The wife will probably download it.
My wife will probably listen to it.
Her brother might download it just to, or like, I wouldn't say downloads as more as like listens.
Yeah. Listens might be a better way.
Yeah.
But is there like, we haven't installed this yet. Is there going to be a difference between download or streams or listens, or what does it give you for raw data? So, and again, I keep bringing this up as if I care how many downloads we get. I really don't. I just think it's going to be a fun game to play.
So I know. So if it goes up on Spotify, it'll show you listens because people can't download it. Like they can, you know how you can say download to your phone?
Yes.
But that only is so that you can listen to it off of the Wi-Fi.
Got it.
You don't have that thing. If we wanted people to like actually download the episode and have it for their own archives, we would have to make like a SoundCloud or have our own website or something like that where we could upload the file.
So we're going to upload the file to Apple. On Apple, you can download an episode.
Can you? I don't use Apple.
Yeah,
so
I was using. You would download an episode, or you could just stream it.
Okay, so then we'll probably get from Apple, because my thing is we'll probably do both.
Yeah.
If I can set us up on both, then we're doing both.
Well, I was actually listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about podcasts. Apparently, Apple basically built most of the platform for shit. So a lot of other podcast people just kind of re-upload from Apple has the main hardware and they just kind of copy and paste it over to their system.
Perfect.
As opposed to build it. So I think
I knew we would definitely do Apple.
Create an Apple one, and then I think once you have that file in place, it should transfer easy. And again, I'm not the technical side of this. I didn't even look this up.
That's my side.
Yeah, this is sans Google for me right now.
But I don't see it being any type of issue uploading or anything like that. But again, like I listen to Spotify, so I know what Spotify data gives you. Mm-hmm. And
this podcast is not brought to you by Spotify.
It's not brought to you by anybody other than CJ Shade Photography.
There you go.
That's it.
And Fortec Electric.
Yeah, that's it. And the Garage.
Yeah, this is brought to you by the Garage.
Clothing store.
No. Definitely not the clothing store.
But I'm just gonna go off of listens. I don't really give a shit about downloads.
The dog's trying to rape his other dog companion. She ran away because he was literally trying to hump the shit out of her.
Jesus. But I'm just gonna go off listens because really. Mm-hmm. Who downloads shit anymore?
I download everything.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
The only reason is because if you want to listen to a podcast, you'd have to stream it and use data and stuff. And I know that the file's so small that it doesn't really matter. It just if I'm at home on Wi-Fi, I'll just download it and then I know I've got it.
Yeah. I guess it's different for you.
It was good for like going on planes and shit like that.
Yeah.
You can't stream it when you're on airplane mode.
I do definitely download it when I.
Just 1 second. I gotta put these fucking.
Sure. Like I definitely do.
Bartlett, come on.
Download. Go.
Let's go.
Go on, bud. I definitely do download stuff, and I'll download a couple Netflix episodes.
But, we do that when we're going away and stuff.
Yeah, but I get it's different for me and you because.
Yeah, I'm not at home most of the day. You can work from home.
I work from home majority of the time, like whether I'm editing or I'm just at home in between jobs.
So most of my listening to anything, whether that's songs or music or something like that, is usually outside of a Wi-Fi
yes,
signal.
and I don't really like. I don't really listen to music in the car anymore. I just can't.
I'll either listen to I mostly listen to podcasts. I don't listen to the radio at all.
No, radio.
I don't listen to the radio.
Dog. I
a little bit.
hate the radio. Don't even get me started.
I used to listen to sports radio for a lot of years.
Really?
Up until I discovered podcasts. And
I couldn't even do that. Like, I just hated the radio. Like, one, so you talking about sports, like, I always hated the way, at least in Toronto, they talked about all our sports teams.
So negative.
Yeah, it's like, okay, fine. Anderson let in 2 goals, but it was always Anderson's fault. When defense did absolutely nothing.
The defenseman could have basically sent the other person on a breakaway.
He could put it in the net, and it was Anderson's fault.
Yeah,
because he passed it back to him.
Scapegoats are easier than real talk, right?
So that, I always found that very frustrating. But with the radio, it's always fucking the same songs every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
as far as music goes,
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. So I've made the transition from when I first started driving, I would listen to 102.1.
Yeah.
Which was a music station.
Me too.
I would listen to that for a couple of years. And then I made the switch, I would say a lot earlier than most people do, to talk radio. Because I think the average demographic of sports talk radio is people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I made that switch. I made that switch at 18.
Yeah.
And I would listen to the radio on the way into the work in the morning. I'd listen to it on the way home.
That was definitely
there was 2 shows I liked. I liked the morning show on 590 and I liked the afternoon show on 590.
Yeah.
And then I got into podcasts. No commercials. They talk about a lot of different stuff. There's different genres of podcasts for everything.
Oh my God.
That went out the window very quickly once I discovered that.
I did so it's funny because I think I get made fun of sometimes. I have a home gym at my parents' place, and my brother will come by, and I don't listen to music all the time. Like, I lift heavy, so if I want to,
because you're fucking jacked.
If I'm trying to get motivated, fine, maybe I'll put on a song. But for the most part, I put on a podcast. And the other day, I just searched photography podcasts, and I probably scrolled for a good 2 minutes.
They're different.
Just to see
photography podcasts.
Just to see what was out there and see if a title caught my name.
Yeah.
And I found this one. It was retouching because I've kind of been diving more into doing editing and stuff, and especially with the way the pandemic's going, I'm trying to figure out more ways to do stuff without
involving other people.
Yeah, or relying on having clients there, or with being my architectural, architectural work. Business. Yeah, not being in an office space or business or home. I can do it from my home, and I don't have to be in contact with the client other than email or phone call. There's no one-on-one in-person stuff if I don't want it. So I just found it and listened to it, and it's man, there's literally whatever you want. And to go off of what you were saying with how you went 102.1 on the radio, then straight to talk shows.
Yeah.
So I went from 102.1, did the radio thing for, I'd say till grade 12. But even then I had CDs in my car you wouldn't believe, because my car didn't have an auxiliary cord. So it was radio or CDs.
Yeah. I had an auxiliary cord. That was a game changer.
CD. And I probably did that till I was, oh my God, 2 years out of college. I was CDs and radio.
So what we used to do in my wife's car is she had that old beater fucking Golf diesel.
Yeah.
So I think she had 2 versions of it, but her first version was it only had a cassette player. No, sorry. It had a CD and a cassette player. No auxiliary cord. So what I bought from Radio Shack, is it still Radio Shack, or is it
the Source? I think Radio Shack.
It was Radio Shack at the time, the one in the No Frills Plaza.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so I went there, and you could get a cassette that had an auxiliary cord attached to it.
I know exactly.
So you would push in the cassette, and then it would have an auxiliary fucking tail on the end of it, and you would just set your radio to cassette, and you could play through that, which I thought at the time was pretty ingenious, to be fair.
That was awesome.
Because that was again a big game changer.
That was she had one of the cars that was like at the in between state, just like we were talking about film.
Yeah.
Oh, people aren't going to go to CD. It sounds better on.
And I
cassette.
remember my dad's GMC Jimmy that did not have a CD player in it. It was only cassette.
Yeah.
And there was 2 cassettes and 3, I should say. There was Elton John Greatest Hits. Rod Stewart Unplugged, which was a very nice live album.
Yeah.
And Shania Twain. That I think maybe
definitely
I don't,
your dad's favorite.
Yeah, he used to rock that a lot. I don't know how many albums which album this was, but it was the one with like that don't impress me much and shit. Like it was. She had a few fucking amazing songs on that album. So I wasn't mad at it, but that was like me being like the ages of 4 to 7.
I can't believe that was in your dad's car.
That was the only 3 CDs: Rod Stewart, Elton John, and Shania Twain.
They were
cassettes, yeah.
Oh my god.
But tapes, yeah, and you would have to turn them over.
Yeah.
You'd have to turn them over for the second half.
The second half of the recordings.
Yeah, and that shit, like when I say that. Like that technology was gone by the time we were 7.
Pretty much.
Like I barely
like VHS.
I barely remember it. I remember CDs very heavily because that was obviously like the next thing. Yeah. And then it was like you would have these fucking consoles that are 5 feet tall that have 1,000 CDs in them. Because my sister and my mom, they had 1,000 CDs.
She bought they're like little like side stands or like table lamps.
They would go beside like your stereo player or by the TV.
They're fucking drawers. Beside, like you
just
come
fill with
next
CDs.
time you're at the house, yeah, dude.
She still has them all?
Filled, dude. She has all her records. She bought a new record player. Now,
see, that's smart because that's coming back.
Records have started coming back over the years,
and they never really stopped being cool either.
No, they just.
And I've never listened to a record.
There's just a lot of companies that like they weren't making sales, so they like died off in a sense, but they never went like bankrupt.
No.
And lost the business completely. But now they've started coming back. Hey, you mind shutting up back there?
Cricket.
Not sure if you guys can hear that.
Again, there's live from the garage. There's a live cricket in the garage.
That is loud as fuck. But,
yeah. And then, so, there was... I remember I was talking about this with Antonia the other day. There's furniture. Like, we used to have furniture in our house that was dedicated to shit we would watch and listen to. Like, we had a full wall unit beside our TV that was, like, all VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Because you would own VHS tapes and it would take up a fuckload of space and it'd be in this heavy ass wall unit. Then that gets pulled out and eventually gets used for like a bookshelf or something like that. DVDs. We used to have DVD stands.
Yeah.
When our house got broken into, that was the number one thing they took because they could pawn them for $5 a piece or whatever, right?
That was
but there was thousands of them.
Yeah.
Like you used to have furniture in your house. Now it's all nothing. It's all gone.
Yeah.
The only thing that you would probably have now is records if you're into records. And in which case you would still need a record player.
How many records are you buying?
Well, I have 2 records from...
you got a record player, by the way?
No, I don't have a record player.
Okay, just
But I have 2 records, so...
I wasn't sure. Maybe there was something I didn't know.
No, because I'm hoping one day to actually listen to these records.
To inherit a record player?
Yeah, I don't even know how... I guess I'll bring them to your mom's house because at least I know that she just bought a new record player.
So I know she has her like original one, but I think she bought a newer one. I think. Don't quote me up, like don't hold me to it, but she does have it all hooked up to like big stereo system in her office and shit.
So this band that I really like, Gaslight Anthem, which we both like. Yes. I have a plan that I want to buy all of their albums and make some sort of collage thing with them.
Cool. Like a little wall piece.
Like a wall piece, like art for the wall, like put in the basement or man cave or something like that, which I thought would be cool. So I have a couple albums, but I have nothing to listen to them on. And I would like to, before I put them behind glass and frame them, I would probably like to listen to them once or twice, probably drunk and high, and actually enjoy them on vinyl once.
But that's the thing, like you just want the covers. So you could always take the records out.
I guess you could just get covers. That's a good point.
And then get like little sleeves or whatever.
These are things I don't think about because I'm not very
You could do that, but like I think that's one thing.
You could buy just sleeves.
I think that's one thing like we kind of missed.
Well, problem solved.
I think that's one thing we kind of missed, like like growing up and stuff, and like the era we did was like me and you both love music. You're a drummer, I'm a drummer. We don't really drum anymore, but we used to, like when we were kids and stuff. So like music was a big part, but the cover art on records was phenomenal. Yeah. They would go and hire professional artists.
My mom had
and now it's just fucking bullshit.
My mom didn't have many albums, and she kept them for a lot longer. I'm sure she's thrown them all away since.
Sure.
But the one I remember specifically she had, and I remember looking at it, was the Bat Out of Hell album by Meatloaf.
Yeah.
The cover art on that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, man. Like, I think... Now, don't get me wrong. There are artists out there that are, like, sourcing out their artwork for their covers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know Logic
but
does
no one's
a lot
buying
of shit.
Physical shit anymore, so even that's...
But that's the thing, yeah, right? You got.
I remember buying CDs, and in the CD book, sometimes they would open up.
And they'd look
They would, like,
cool
be pretty big, and they would have, like, sometimes the lyrics or just, like, photos and, like, artwork and stuff in them. I think Billy Talent had some of that. That was one of the first albums I ever bought, was Billy Talent.
Loved Billy Talent.
CD.
Yeah.
I bought it in Calgary because I was about to drive across the country with my great aunt and uncle.
You needed some shit.
Well into their 60s, maybe even 70s at the time. And I had a Discman. It was a grade 5.
I love those.
It was a grade 5. So how old are you in grade 5? 10? Or not even?
Say that again?
10, how old are you in grade 5? 10 or 11?
Honestly, I have
the
no
Billy
idea.
Talent CD had just come out.
Sure.
And I bought it for the Drive Across CD. So I bought 3 CDs. I don't know why I didn't buy more or bring more. I had some at home that I could have brought. But I
was
bought...
that the one with...
It was
like a red
and
orange,
yellow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that was like grade 7.
No, it was grade 5. 100%. Because I bought it in Calgary and I was in grade 5 or going into grade 6 at the time.
Okay, so maybe it was...
But also, they put out singles for that album for a couple years. Because their first one was Try Honesty, but
you're right.
The River Below came out like 2 years later as a music video.
Yeah.
And that was off the same album.
You're definitely right. I was just thinking because in grade 4, I had the Limp Bizkit.
Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water album.
Yeah, I had that CD and I brought it into class. Now, mind you, it was censored. But I brought that shit in for class.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
In grade 4.
There was something about Limp Bizkit when you were in grade 4 that was like, it made my mind fucking explode.
Yeah.
I was at James Witherspoon's house and he had the uncensored version. I didn't even understand what was going on. I'm like, this is the best shit. Break stuff is Break Stuff even on that album or was on the album before?
It was on the album.
So he had the album before that had Nookie, Break Stuff, and they had another fucking classic song. And we would play that shit. I was like, it was actually hard to explain how fucked my mind went on that.
Dude.
I was like, you can swear and be loud, heavy music, and
it still sound good.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah, neither did I. The first, I'm trying to think. So the first CD I bought, other than that one that was uncensored, I think would have been Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication.
That came out in 2000?
No.
2001. That came out pretty early.
Oh my God. So
we were like 8.
I can listen to that album like any day of the week.
Yeah.
You just tell me when. You just put it on.
Bad songs on that album.
Just put it on.
So for this cross-country tour, I prepared myself with, instead of like, and I knew I had the Discman.
You didn't want Willie Nelson?
So the only reason I remember the Billy Talent, I had other CDs, but the Billy Talent one I remember because I think I paid for that with my own money. And it was like the first CD I'd actually bought.
Yeah.
Whereas like my parents would buy me CDs. Like I remember my parents bought me an Avril Lavigne CD, her first album.
I went to her concert when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah.
My first concert was Sum 41.
Nice.
With I forgot who opened, but it was Sum 41, and the lead singer then was dating Avril Lavigne at the time.
Yeah.
But I loved her. Her first album was great.
She was hot.
Yeah, when we were 11. Yeah.
I don't even think I was 11.
I think she was like 16 when she came out, or 17. She was in high school.
So
yeah,
I was literally just listening to Joe Rogan with Miley Cyrus, and like
she's our age, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like when she was doing like Hannah Montana and all that stuff. Like, dude, she was like, I think she started when she was 13. Or at least I think they said when she was touring, she started touring at 13.
So she probably started doing Hannah Montana at like 11 or 12.
Something stupid. Like, it's like, holy shit.
So at that age, I was driving across the country with my aunt and uncle.
Oh my God.
So
you needed Billy Talent.
I needed Billy Talent. But I also bought 2 other albums. And there was Kiss 25th Anniversary Edition Greatest Hits. And I'm not even that big a Kiss fan.
That's how young we are, though. It was their 25th anniversary.
It was like 20. It might have even been the 25th anniversary of their greatest hits. I don't fucking know, but
sure,
probably 25th. So it was some special 25th anniversary thing, and then I bought a Gorillaz, that album.
Oh yeah,
the one that had Clint Eastwood on it and Rock the House and stuff. And I had that, but I didn't. I listened to the Gorillaz album, and I was too young at the time to enjoy all the songs, so I would just listen. Like I would put it on, listen to the 3 songs I liked. Change it, put on like Billy Talent, run through that 8 times in a row, then go on to Kiss 8 times in a row, 3 Gorillaz songs. That was it for 6 straight days.
Jeez.
Because my aunt and uncle, they're like the world's worst drivers. So they didn't like to do like, okay, we'll get up at 7 and we'll drive until like 7. They didn't do 12-hour days. They planned their trip out across the country, and they did this a couple times a year. Because my grandfather, it's his younger brother.
That's kind of cool as shit though, like...
I wanted to do it because I like geography and I kind of like history.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good opportunity to see Canada at a young age.
See, I like landscapes. I like just like pure like nature of like Canada. I've been from here to New Brunswick. I've been to PEI. I've been to Nova Scotia. The only place I haven't been is Newfoundland.
That's the same as me. That's the only province I haven't been to. And the territories.
But like I've been out west. I've driven across from here to the coast twice now. And there's so much you don't see that I want to see. Yeah. And like to do those trips when you were younger is fucking sick.
It was cool because I didn't think weirdly, I had this idea in my head, like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this again, and I haven't done it again.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could have made time to do it at some point, but I'm glad I got it done. So we flew out to Calgary because my parents I spent a fair bit of time in Calgary when I was a kid. Except
you got family out there, don't you?
My grandfather's younger brother, my great aunt and uncle, they've been out there for like 30 years at the time. They raised their kids there. So I had cousins there, and I had another set of cousins that were from here on my mom's side that also ended up over there. So we would go there to visit my mom's aunt and
shout
uncle.
Out to Cowboys.
Cowboys in Calgary. Best place ever. And so my sister was living in Vancouver. My parents were like, you want to come to see your sister in Vancouver? We're going to go stop in Calgary. I'm like, and Auntie Audrey and Uncle Ab are going to drive across the country. I'm like, I want to drive across the country with them because I'm young and stupid. So I get there and hang out there. My parents take off after a couple of days. They go to visit my sister in Vancouver. My Uncle Ab takes me up to like Lake Louise, Banff. I've never been up there before. Going to, is it Canmore, just on the other side of the Alberta border?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went into there, did a couple day trips. It was really cool. So I still haven't done that. I've been to Calgary a couple times since, but I haven't done that shit often. And then we drove across the country. I'm like, cool, I get to see the prairies, and I get to see this and get to see that. I thought that each province would look different.
No.
I didn't realize that an hour outside of Calgary, the prairies started, and they don't end until Manitoba, which is 2 provinces away.
They don't end till fucking Ontario.
Basically Winnipeg. The shield starts in Winnipeg.
Is an absolute shithole. I'm sorry if you live there and you're listening.
It is a shithole.
But it is absolutely the worst. If I could drive to literally the border of Manitoba and Ontario.
And then kill yourself.
And like somebody, like a plane, I could just like drive my car onto a plane. Then it would drop me off in
the border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
I actually love Saskatchewan. Like, I think the landscape, it's fucking flat. But I
remember it being more hilly, but yeah, it was basically flat. It looks the same.
There is hills.
Just fields of grain.
I loved Saskatchewan, and like people like Paul and Audrey who I've driven across with fucking think I'm stupid, but it's I actually liked driving through Saskatchewan. Manitoba, just shoot me if I ever have to go fucking through there again.
Well, the good news with COVID is that they're not letting anyone into their province. Not that anyone wants to go anyways.
Yeah.
That was the most ironic thing about it. Is like Manitoba's like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to travel into our province or things. Like, no problem. We weren't planning on coming to your dark, terrible,
we didn't want to come here anyway.
Cold.
Oh my!
It's dark all year long.
Actually, awful. Like,
it's on the same latitude as Calgary, but it seems to be dark and cold there year round.
But the landscape, like, there's
nothing to it.
The terrain is dark. Like, there's no trees.
No.
Like, it's just gloomy.
It is brown. It is a true transition because Ontario is all Canadian Shield and forest. So you start heading west from Toronto, you're in the Shield and forest all the way up to the border of Manitoba. And then about halfway through Manitoba, it starts to transition to prairies, which are prairies until Calgary, 2 provinces away.
Yeah.
So Manitoba doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be other than cold and terrible. That's the only thing it doesn't know what. But at least in Saskatchewan, when you know, like, Saskatchewan's known for one thing, prairies. Alberta's known for prairies and mountains, Lake Louise, Banff. BC's known for mountains and forestry and all that stuff. Vancouver, all that stuff. Exactly. Olympics. Skiing. There's a million things doing in Vancouver. Yeah. Saskatchewan has this thing where the prairies, cool. Alberta's its own thing. Ontario is the epicenter of the country. Yeah. Quebec is French. And then you got the East Coast provinces, which are all
assholes.
No. Which are all cool because they have the Atlantic Ocean. That's each one's claim to fame. They're like, we're New Brunswick. We have the Atlantic Ocean. Then you go to Nova Scotia, like, we're Nova Scotia. We have the Atlantic Ocean. And you go to PEI, like, we have the Atlantic Ocean and a bridge.
Nova Scotia is actually fucking awesome. But, so this is...
And you've done this drive more recently than me, so you probably definitely remember it.
I've done it twice, and the last time I did it was, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. And this is how I remember coming out of Ontario every time. You see, welcome to Manitoba. And then literally everything just ends.
It turns gray.
Like, literally, there's no more trees. It's like somebody was taking their horse across country. They're walking and all the trees ended.
Yeah.
They said, well, this is a border.
Yeah, this is definitely a border.
Literally, that's what they did.
Yeah, trees stopped here. That's a new border.
When me and Paul stopped, so we stopped just before we got to the border of Manitoba.
You did with Paul and Audrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Paul was interesting. Like, just like...
Did you have more time with Paul, or did you guys have a tighter... Because I know with Audrey, you guys had a tight schedule. Like, you guys basically drove there and you drove back.
Yeah, we definitely had time to get out there, and more time than I think he thought. Mm-hmm. But he also kind of left it.
He was
to
also
the last
going
minute.
For school too, right?
Yeah, we got there.
Had a deadline.
We got there, and we got there. I want to say like Thursday. I was flying out that Sunday.
And he started
school started on
Monday.
Tuesday would have been orientation. I think that's how it went. But so we definitely had a schedule to get there.
Yeah.
But we also didn't really give a fuck. At the time, I didn't give he really wanted to camp, but I knew we were gonna stretch our days so far. Mm-hmm. The second day we tried...
You don't want to set up a tent at midnight.
The second day we tried to get...
just outside of Thunder Bay.
To a campsite, they were closed.
Perfect.
That's a good start. Great. We're going to drive an extra hour, go to Thunder Bay, and just get a hotel.
Yeah.
And then from there on out, we got a hotel. We stopped off in Brandon. We got a hotel. What fucking campsite are you going to stay in?
How long is it from Thunder Bay to Brandon?
8 hours.
So it's not even a full. It
was a full day. It was a full day.
Yeah.
But it's not a whole lot.
That's what I remember.
Manitoba is very thin. So is Saskatchewan.
I didn't take much to get through them.
Me and Paul didn't even stay in Saskatchewan. We drove right through it and went to Calgary.
This was why driving with my aunt and uncle was the most ridiculous trip ever. So it takes
had to get a hotel every 3 hours.
It takes 19 hours to get from Calgary to Thunder Bay, which is Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Yeah. Now you're into Ontario and Thunder Bay, which is just over the border of Manitoba.
Yeah.
We did that in 4 days. So we drove.
Fuck.
So
we
again,
because
they were exactly.
Yeah.
So they were old. So again, they like to schedule everything. And bless their hearts, they were thinking of me too. They're like, "Oh, we'll stop at a hotel and make sure it has a pool for Chris." It was very nice of them.
Yeah.
But
I told Audrey we had to stay in a hotel that had a slide. Did I ever go on the slide? No.
But they all had a slide.
No, they didn't.
No?
One had a fucking jacuzzi in the middle of the fucking room. Continue your story and I'll get to that
Shag and jacuzzi. So we go. This was our stops. Calgary to Regina, which is less than 8 hours, I think.
I don't know.
I think it's 8 hours.
Sure.
Basically, I remember these drives being like 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours,
8 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours. No more, no less.
Yeah. So like they didn't like to drive very long. They like to get up at.
Fair enough, though. Like
They like to get up at 7. They like to go to A&W for breakfast, and then we would drive, stop for lunch.
great breakfast, by the way. And Rob popped my cherry on that one.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, literally. Like, I guess it would have been a year ago, last summer.
Yeah. So we stayed in Regina from Calgary, which is not a very long drive. Then we went Regina to Winnipeg. I'm sure it was Winnipeg or just outside, whatever.
Sure.
It was about 8 hours.
There is
How long is it from Winnipeg to Thunder Bay? I don't even think that's an 8 hour drive.
Definitely isn't.
No. So we went Winnipeg to Thunder Bay, stayed in Thunder Bay for the night.
Okay,
and then the long drive was, I think, Winnipeg or Thunder Bay to Sioux, which is probably like 9 hours.
Thunder Bay to Sault Ste. Marie is,
Because I think it's like 8 hours
9
here.
hours.
10 hours.
It's a fucking hefty drive.
So that was our longest drive.
From here to Thunder Bay
It's
is
19
like,
hours.
No. It's like 17.
Okay, so that
But
by
again,
comparison,
that's like
straight through.
Yeah, like no stopping, nothing.
So Toronto to Thunder Bay is 17 hours. From Thunder Bay to Calgary is 19 hours. So it takes almost as long to get out of our province as it does driving in 3 provinces
to get to the middle.
To get to the middle of another province.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I remember. So fuck, there was something I was gonna say. So I remember. So me and Paul, we stopped in Brandon. We would have kept going and probably would have stayed somewhere in Saskatchewan. I'm glad we didn't because I don't know when the nearest town or like we probably would have slept in the car.
I don't even think Manitoba knows where the nearest town is to Brandon.
No, not like Saskatchewan. Like if we didn't stay in Brandon,
there's not a whole lot.
We would have been fucked. And the only reason we stayed in Brandon,
would have had to get off the Trans-Canada and head north or south to find a town.
And
that highway just goes through nothing.
And good luck. Like you're gonna find a town that has a fucking restaurant and homes.
Yeah, you're right. You would have been sleeping.
Right? We would have been fucked. So like thank God John was in Brandon, Manitoba, the military base there at the time. And we stayed there and we're like, yo, let's get together. And looking back on it, I don't even think we saw John.
Really?
Shouldn't
you have called him before you went out there?
We did.
And
but I think it might have been my bad. Probably was. But again, like I didn't know when we were leaving till like 2 days before. When I went out with Paul.
So you couldn't really give him like, hey, we will be in Brandon on this date.
I would have had to tell him, and again, like we kind of made the decision
as you're driving, you're gonna feel the need to push it or not push it for a couple hours. So you could step up your arrival time by a day or two at that point. Like if you guys decide to punch, like if you just wanted to fucking haul ass to Thunder Bay,
we're out.
Because most people would stop somewhere halfway.
If Paul really wanted to camp, like that, Paul wanted to camp the entire way out there.
Did you guys camp once?
Yeah, in Killarney. That's before the Sioux.
Like 12 hours? No, not even
Killarney?
No.
It's like fucking 4 or 5 hours out of here.
There's a place that's like 13 hours that I'm thinking of that's similar to like a Killarney. I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Killbear?
No, not Killbear. It doesn't matter. It'll come to me. But I thought Killarney was much further. I thought it was past the Sioux.
I don't think so.
No, you're probably right. No, you've done it recently.
I'm pretty sure it's only like 4 or 5 hours. Because
I also mentioned I like geography, and apparently I'm showing myself how much I don't
remember because we stopped at an en route, and we got A&W, which is like a gas station stop on the highway. Mm-hmm. So we stopped there.
They have a monopoly on all those on those highway stops. It's like A&W and Mr.
A&W, then it's
everyone.
No. It's A&W. Then the next one's Burger King.
That's right.
Then the next one's A&W.
Then it's Burger King.
Burger King, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you get Burger King, A&W.
They change it up on you like that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why can't you just do every other one and then make it easy for everybody?
That's too tough.
It's too much courtesy.
Is A&W a Canadian chain or is it an American chain as well?
I want to say American, but fuck to find it. That thing is loud as fuck. That thing's in here. It's gonna eat us.
He's definitely in here.
It's gonna eat us.
He lives in here most of the days, and he only pipes up like right as it like you think
when
it
we
would
want
start
to do
like
something.
dark, yeah. Right when we're about to do our first podcast is A&W Canadian.
Oh man, that's funny. No, but I remember. So like we were doing the drive. And so I did it with Paul first. So I kind of knew the route that me and Paul took, and I knew the stretches that we could go. Me and Paul drove from Brandon, Manitoba to Calgary, which is
12 hours?
something like that. It was doable in a day. But the thing that we did is we wanted to go and see Dog River.
Corner gas.
We wanted to go to Corner Gas. That was a stop we were going to do.
How far out of the way is it from the highway?
We also went to a ghost town. Scary as fuck. Got a crazy story for you. Remind me of that. Anyways, so we did that. So we went down. We did the ghost town. It was raining. Came back up after the ghost town. Probably spent an hour in the ghost town. Actually pretty fucking cool, but scared the living shit out of me. I don't like scary movies.
All right, tell me about the ghost town. Was there? How did you find out about the ghost town?
I searched ghost towns
Between
Canada.
here and Alberta.
I searched ghost towns Canada and found this place. I can't.
What made you search ghost towns Canada?
I don't know. Just trying to figure.
Trying to find cool shit to do on the way.
Cool shit to see. I was taking my cameras out with me.
Okay.
So I'm
you wanted to
something
cool,
something cool to shoot, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're in this ghost town. It rained the entire day.
Nobody's there. Like there's
Okay.
Is there a
Let me tell
souvenir
my
shop?
story.
All right.
No, there's no souvenir
Okay,
shop.
because
So-
you hear about ghost towns like
And it's a fucking
it's like a
big
tourist
thing.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
This was not the case.
No, definitely
Okay.
not. So cool thing about Saskatchewan before we get into the story is that there are awesome old vintage cars literally everywhere. And I don't think anybody owns them anymore. I feel like you could just take a trailer out there. If you
Throw
want
a
to
couple of cars in there and take off.
take off and fucking rebuild them if you want. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about like old Camaros,
like sitting on the
GTOs,
side of the
Bel
road.
Airs. Dude, so we drive to this ghost town. We see elk. We see a bunch of cattle because we're in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
We see everything going out there. But it's raining. And I'm driving and I'm hauling ass. We're hitting potholes with puddles in them.
On the way.
Or like, you know how the road gets ruts and they
the
fill
side.
with puddles? Okay, well, the roads are like just big enough that you can fit 2 cars and everybody's got a big ass fucking truck.
Yeah.
Me and Paul are in this fucking Honda
Subaru.
Civic.
Oh, it
we
was
were in
Paul.
his Paul.
Oh,
we were in
shit.
his car. We were hitting these fucking little puddles. It was pulling, like it would pull our car. I was so surprised we didn't kill ourselves out there.
Really?
Yeah, just driving.
Yeah, they were deep.
Yeah, it was fucked. And he was like dozing in and out. He's like, man, thank God you're driving. Because if anybody else was driving, I would not trust him right now. And I felt the same way with him. Like, I'm like, he fucked me up a couple of times. I'd be passed out, just finished driving. He'd hit the fucking like little bumps on the side of the road, fucking scare the shit out of me. Or he'd like swerve real quick, scare the shit out of me. I'm like,
You're
man.
waking up
like,
thinking you're gonna die.
yeah, I'm like, I'm trying to sleep here so I can take the next shift. Anyway, so we get to this ghost town. And we're like, oh, dude, this is fucking cool. Like abandoned buildings. You can see stores. Not a lot. Like we're in
Was it a
Saskatchewan.
mining town? You don't know the history of it?
I really don't. And I
Probably should.
maybe I don't really care
What's the
too
name
much.
of it? Do you remember?
No,
All right.
it might come. It might come to me.
So
but
far, so good to the start.
I'll make sure it's something we talk about, or at least give the town of the name of the town next time.
Yeah.
But so it was cool. I was photographing some of the buildings, like really cool. It was so gloomy and like I wish there was like fog. So like one of the images, I added fog to it and made it really dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
really cool. So we're just like walking around. Paul's like, yo, let's go in this place.
How big? Like
Not big.
Like we're talking like a couple homes, like a couple stores.
There's
like
maybe
this was like
there's maybe like 4 or 5 stores, maybe 6.
So there was like a defined little like downtown area.
Yeah, it was like down a strip. All the stores were on the strip.
Do you know when it became ghosted?
I know nothing.
This is not a good ghost town story so far because I want to know all these answers.
Yeah, you want to know the history of it?
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you the scary shit that happened.
I like scary shit too. I just want to. When was a rough idea of when this thing went down? Like in the 50s, you think?
I have literally no idea.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of the name right now.
Don't worry about it.
And it ain't coming to me.
On Thursday,
when we do our next episode, I will definitely have all the information for you. But so
bring a bottle at Signal Hill for Thursday too.
I'm gonna get a bottle for us because it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd like to try that. Again, this podcast is not brought to you by Signal Hill.
It's not brought to you by anybody other than me and Chris.
Yeah.
So we get in there. Paul's like, "Yo, let's go in here." And I don't like fucking scary movies, and I felt like I was walking into a fucking scary movie. Paul, we literally had to like kick open this door.
That's how every scary movie starts.
And it was literally like shit everywhere. There was fucking weeds growing everywhere. I thought the fucking place was going to collapse on us.
It probably was.
Paul goes, let's go up the stairs. I go, dude, I don't want to go up the stairs. But fine.
It's a 2-story home.
Yeah.
And it had been abandoned for God knows how long.
It's not a big 2-story.
So it's like a side split like this?
Almost like there's just like a bedroom upstairs. Like that's pretty much better. It. So I'm like,
where the baby's kept.
I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna follow him up there in case something happens. We go out there. Everything was fine. I'm shaking in my boots. Like something's gonna happen. So we get back, walk outside. We see this guy cross the fucking road.
Okay.
Goes into a bush. Disappears.
You both saw him?
Oh, yeah. I go, dude. He's like, yeah.
Were you guys the only one in the town when you pulled in?
Yeah,
there's no one around.
No other cars, no other people. We're the only ones. We drove maybe 2 hours out of our way to
find this place.
To go here. Like, it's a fucking legit ghost
Is
town.
it even on a map? Like, you have to, like, just kind of, like...
You probably scroll in a few.
Like, just find it a little bit,
Yeah. So, I'm like, dude.
This is after you came out of the house?
Yeah.
And the dude's like, he's there.
Maybe a couple minutes after. But
was he dressed like it was the 1800s?
All I remember is just seeing like a black, like.
Did he have a Rolex on and Nikes?
No, not skin color black, but he was in all dark clothes.
Yeah.
And he walked across the road. I didn't really want to make eye contact. And he walked in behind the bush. We're also coming out of this fucking abandoned house.
You guys are, even if he's a real person, you guys are both up to no good.
And that's just it. So he walks in behind this bush and like legit disappears.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little shack, but it had a window. I didn't even see him in it. Big dude, like maybe 6 feet, lanky guy, couldn't see, he's
gone.
Gone. So I'm like, what the fuck?
And Paul saw him.
Paul saw him.
It's so weird.
Whether Paul remembers to this day or not, I do.
But you guys had a discussion about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so whether he remembers or not.
And then, so, I'm like, dude, let's fucking go. Like, we gotta...
Because there's no cars around.
No. Dude,
there's no cars in the town.
There's
not even abandoned town.
You see these, like, little, like, bungalow houses?
Yeah.
Very small. Maybe, I don't know, what's the square footage of your garage?
This garage is probably, like, 20 feet by 30 feet.
Okay, so the house is like no bigger than this. Like the houses around the town. And there's like maybe 7-8 houses around the town.
Yeah.
Okay, so
like this.
I'm like, dude, let's go. Let's go.
So it's
I'm like,
bigger.
Dude, look at that house right now. He goes, what? I go, look at that house. Is there a fucking girl in the window? There's a little kid standing in the window of this abandoned house. She fucking walked away. Both me and him looked at it, and then
What did he say? All right, so you saw it.
Yeah, he's like...
So you guys are driving out of the town.
No, we haven't even gotten
Oh,
the
you haven't
car
gotten
yet.
the car yet.
No, we're like, I'm like, dude, like, we gotta go. Because I'm shit my...
creeped out.
Yeah, I'm shit my pants.
So you walk out of the house.
It was called
wanna
a
make sure-
ghost town.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm expecting no...
Well, that's because there's ghosts there, stupid. You're supposed
Nobody
to know
to be
that.
there. Okay, nobody to be there. We saw a guy cross the road, and this chick, little girl,
Yeah.
standing in the window.
Of like, how far away was the house?
Oh my god, maybe 100 yards.
Oh, so not very far.
Not very
Yeah.
far enough. I couldn't like make out facial features,
Yeah.
but like
You can make out the figure.
it wasn't like my eyes like the way fucking rain hit the window. Like I could make out the fucking shape.
Yeah.
The scary fucking part was as soon as I said that to Paul, this fucking chick like ducked under the windows and the fucking blinds were moving. I go, bro, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
So he didn't see her?
No, he did.
He did see her.
He did see her
All right,
because
so
he
you
was
walk
like,
out.
"What the fuck?"
All right.
I'm like, dude, it's supposed to be a ghost town. People
It is a
live-
ghost town. You
People
were right.
live here,
No, you're right. There was nobody living there.
dude. I got the
Ghosts
car
living
stuck because the way I parked on the grass. It's been raining since we left
there. So there's
Brandon,
it's
Manitoba,
burning out.
dude. I'm like, fuck it, get in the driver's seat. I'll fucking push this out. I got it stuck. I'm trying to fucking push this out here.
You're looking over your shoulder, freaked out.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, man, is someone gonna grab me? That was probably the scariest thing.
And this is the middle of the day.
Oh yeah, it's not late
it's
in the
not
day.
dark.
No, it's
Yeah.
maybe 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so it's well lit. And this is the summertime as well.
Yeah. We left in August, like late August.
So you go into the creepy house, you come out, a dude crosses the road. Like almost immediately after you
Yeah.
guys left the house.
Pretty much,
Pretty
yeah.
much. So like you're making your way down the driveway, say,
Yeah.
a dude crosses the street, goes behind a
There
bush,
wasn't
and he's
even a
gone.
driveway. It was like the road,
Like a path
like
up to
a
the
dirt
house.
road, and then like a little walkway to the front door.
Okay.
There was no driveway.
All right, so you're
probably parked
leaving
on
the
the
house.
street.
This dude walks across the street. He disappears behind a bush.
Yeah.
There's no cars around.
No.
So this dude.
Houses look like literally all the houses.
Also, if you're living in this town, there's not even a functional like souvenir shop or grocery store. So like, if you're
No,
living there, you
you're
would need a
going out of your
vehicle.
way.
Yeah, and Saskatchewan's very rural, so you would need a vehicle to drive.
Yeah, you're going out of your way, and I didn't see no vehicle.
Okay, except for your guys' own. in the whole
Except for
town.
our fucking little Honda Civic or whatever the fuck it was.
So this dude goes out, he disappears behind a bush, and then as you guys are still making your way to the car, how soon after you saw the guy did you look at the house and see this little girl?
So Paul kept walking around, and it's like so did I. And then I was like watching Paul do whatever. I don't even know what the fuck he was doing.
You just want to
Dude,
get the fuck out of there.
He was just walking around. Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Find the name out of this place. I want to look up photos of this
I
place.
looked up.
Or bring photos of it next time.
Well, I almost said River Dog, but that's not a ghost town. That's
you just put Dog River in reverse.
that's a Dog River is a cool place to go to. Like none of the like there used to be a souvenir shop at the gas station that they filmed in and shit.
Was the gas station a set or a real gas station?
It's like a set.
It was just a set that
Yeah.
they put up in this town.
Yeah.
Got it.
It might like so when me and Audrey went, which was maybe 6 years after me and Paul went, 5
Okay.
years, like
Yeah.
couldn't even find the gas station. I drove around the whole fucking place. Not a big place. There's maybe 5 streets.
So they must have stopped filming.
They
Just got rid of the set.
Yeah, they finished filming the show like 3 years after. After me and Paul were there, so
Yeah.
6 years before me and Audrey went, like it had been gone for a while. But when
You
me
would
and
have thought
Paul,
they'd just keep it up just as a tourist attraction.
that's what I thought.
Like the people of the town.
But the buildings, they've got like buildings where they're TD Bank and like they actually have a town.
Okay.
Their buildings were painted like the show, like all the exterior of the buildings
They
were
were like
painted.
that old like maroon varnish color.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like that was all painted. So like that was still painted, and like I wanted to take Audrey there because I'm like it's cool to see. Like, but yeah, dude, that scared the living fuck out of me. Like, I'm like I never want to go back there, and I really wish I knew the name of the town.
Googling it right now because that's bugging me.
Search Ghost
Ghost
Towns.
Town, Saskatchewan.
Yeah. And I guarantee you it'll be the first one that comes up. I highly recommend going there and getting the shit scared out of yourself.
Oh, there's many.
Oh shit. Okay, give me.
Need Path,
No.
Shackleton,
No.
Peterson,
No.
Bents,
No.
Moreland,
No.
Admiral,
No. It
Fusilier,
might be easier if I look at the list.
Fusilier,
No.
Bromhead. Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's I have to like reopen the list. Is that one of the places that you saw?
No,
No?
dude, it wasn't that.
That place is creepy as fuck. Just so people know what we're
There
looking
was a
at.
lot
That
of
looks like an old
places like that,
schoolhouse
like
that's freaking me
boarded
the
up
fuck out.
windows. I'm gonna search Ghost Town, Canada.
Well, it's got photos of these towns, so maybe you'll recognize. This is exciting,
man.
Dead Air.
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot,
dude.
apparently.
Well, again,
But
they're
Saskatchewan probably had a lot of boom and bust because it's just,
Again, yeah.
holy fuck.
Dude, there's some scary fucking places out there. I'm honestly gonna have to fucking.
Because we were at the cottage a couple weeks
Dude.
ago, and you guys did not want to watch a scary movie, and you don't like scary movies.
I fucking
So
hate
I'm
that
wondering, knowing you as many years as I have, what possessed you to
It was.
go and find a ghost town?
Oh, so Paul's like, let's find some shit. So I'm like, ghost towns, because like a couple of the guys I've been following on like Instagram at the time and like other photographers were going to like these abandoned buildings. Like that was a thing back then.
So you're like, I know what I'll do. I'll find an abandoned town.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's go to a fucking ghost town,
Fuck all that.
dude.
How many buildings do you guys go into there?
Just one or two.
Did you have to like
They
break,
were
did you have to break into
Pretty.
each one?
No. So the one the house we went into, like.
Yeah, like
The
force
door
your way
was-
in a little bit.
Yeah, the door was kind of like blocked, but it wasn't like locked or like
It's giving me
boarded up.
fucking the heebie-jeebies thinking about it.
But majority of the buildings were like boarded up completely, like literally a 2x4 put in front of the fucking doorway,
Got it.
nailed shut.
Nailed shut, condemned, don't come
Yeah,
in here.
you-
Because I'm sure somebody fucking...
Well, that's it, right?
People
Like,
go in there, they fuck around, they fall through the floorboards and
all
break
these
their leg and
places
shit.
are going to be.
They're dangerous. They're not. You're not supposed to go in there. They haven't been tamed in however many years.
Yeah, this is also really going to bug me.
Just look at
Roberts.
Robert, Saskatchewan.
Rob Zart. That's where we went. And I have a picture of the
Rob
Beaver
Zart.
Lumber Company Limited. Rob.
I'm just gonna read the
ROBSART. Saskatchewan.
I'm gonna read the little blurb
Sure.
for anyone listening because also I wanted the answers. According to Saskatchewan Ghost Towns, Rob's Fart, we'll call it, was founded in 1910. The arrival of the railway brought an economic boom, but the town went in decline with the Great Depression. Today there are only 20 inhabitants and lots of abandoned buildings. So they're saying there's inhabitants, but
There was definitely people living there. I don't think they were ghosts, but in my head they were ghosts.
so now we can actually Google Rob Sart. Well, we'll look it up for next time. But because this is people don't want to listen to us just reading about Rob Sart up in Saskatchewan.
But like, dude,
I'm
I
gonna
would
research
highly.
this and come back with a whole
I would
list
definitely
next
go
week.
to another one. As much as I am, like, I fucking hate scary movies. Like, literally shoot me in the head, then you can watch your fucking scary movie. But like when I was younger, that shit scared the fuck out of me. I watched like Friday the 13th or something.
I
with
hated
my
scary
brother.
movies as a
Dude,
kid.
slept with the light on for
So did
fucking
I.
months.
Yeah, my parents I used to sleep with my door open and the hallway light upstairs used to be on.
Dude.
Like I was
Yeah.
so scared. I saw the opening scene to Scream when did Scream come out? In late 90s? Like
Yeah.
98, 99?
Yeah.
My sister had it on VHS and I watched it with one of my cousins. And I didn't even get through I got through the opening scene, but the thing that freaked me out the most, because at the end of that scene, like, you know, the Scream mask,
Yeah.
it pops up on the glass at one point in the scene. You can watch that movie now, we would both laugh. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
But I was-
scary movies are fucking
also
dog shit, but
7
like,
years old or 6 years
also
old.
don't want
And
to
that
put
scared the
myself
fuck
through
out
that.
of me for probably the next 4 years. I was scared of that movie. I used to be scared of like the witches and like Disney movies, like Snow White. I was scared of that witch. I was scared of the witch from Wizard of Oz. I was fucking terrified of anything that seemed scary
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Now I love scary shit.
Really?
I don't know what changed. I really don't know what changed. But something obviously
well,
did.
it's probably us just maturing. Like when we're younger, like
But
you watch a movie, you think
Antonia
it's fucking legit
scared of
real.
trailers for shit. Like if a trailer has a certain sound to it, even
won't watch
if it's not a fucking.
I think we also traumatized her with what's a Serbian film.
But she never watched the movie.
I never watched.
I never watched the movie either.
Who watched it? So one of you guys did.
Dan, Zach, and Rob watched it.
Okay, I knew
watched
people.
The movie I
watched
watched was Poughkeepsie Tapes that came out around the same time. You remember that movie? The
No.
trailer for that movie was pretty fucked up. It was like a found footage.
I just
it was pretty
remember
disturbing.
the trailer music for a Serbian film was absolutely ridiculous.
That should be our theme song for this podcast. I really think that should be our theme song. Now let's try and find the rights to a Serbian film theme song.
Oh, and we probably can't use it.
No, but
go give that a if you're listening to the podcast right now,
just type in a Serbian film theme song
and go listen to that real quick, because that used to be the thing. Before we'd go to the bar, we would listen to that.
Oh man,
because
because we're sick fucks. Me and Zach used to drive around. Remember his red Honda Civic he had? Do you remember that car?
Yes, I remember the green one he had.
So the green
crashed.
He didn't crash it. It was like an old beater. It was his dad's.
Sure.
It eventually died.
Okay,
that was his
that's
first
what
car.
happened?
It just eventually died. So he had this red Honda Civic that he shared with his parents. It had a really good sound system in it. And we used to blare a Serbian film and like cruise by people really slow and just like give them weird looks and shit like that. We used to do creepy shit like that all the time. But only we knew, like, because it sounds like a shitty EDM song.
Yeah, but
it's
only
like
you guys knew.
Only we knew that it was like from like basically a snuff film. So we used to fucking cruise around and do creepy faces at each other just to amuse ourselves for sick
Dude,
fucks.
we did some fucking dumb shit when we were younger.
Yeah. I think we were listening to a Serbian film when Zach in that same car hydroplaned into the back of another car when we were on lunchtime one time. Just stupid shit you do when you have your license at 16 years old. Drive too fast in the rain, listening to a Serbian film theme song on full volume. The windows shaking from the bass.
Dude, we just... Oh... Like, I remember we were going to fucking, like, Indian food one day at lunch, and we had Rage Against the Machine fucking bumping.
Which is the volume you want to listen to it at. And you want to listen to Rage Against the Machine at the loudest possible volume.
Just drumming every beat.
Going nuts.
Yeah, and this guy's just, like, on the sidewalk, and Zach just stopped at the stop sign. I'm like, who stops at a stop sign? Zach did. For like,
I stop at stop signs.
It felt like for like 10 seconds. Like,
like way too long that he should have.
Yeah.
Stops at stop signs. I thought most people did.
No, you don't have to stop if there's a white border.
That's true.
It is true.
Those are stoptionals, I heard.
Yeah. But, and this guy, I looked up and this guy's just like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? Oh.
It's funny the shit that people used to think was cool when they were kids. Like I remember like people would have like mufflers on their car and they used to love revving their engine near. I was never one of these guys. I'm not a big car guy. I don't care.
I like cars and
they used to like remember like always like walking down the street and someone would come by and be like, "Roar!" It's like, oh, cool, man.
Sick.
Like, where do you think this is gonna go from here?
Yeah. Oh my god. And it's always the guy in a fucking Honda Civic.
Yeah, which I currently drive, just for the reference.
That has the SI on the back. For SI, it means sports edition. You don't drive a fucking sports car.
Wait,
sorry.
How can SI mean sports edition? Edition has an E. There's no way.
SI, that's their sports edition car.
Okay, it's sports edition car, but it doesn't stand for sports edition.
No, but it does. SI. That's what it.
Fuck.
That literally. That's literally their sports edition car.
That's hilarious.
Dude, Audrey's ex-roommate, her boyfriend, goes, dude, I just bought a sports car. Oh yeah.
You bought a Honda Civic?
Bought a Honda Civic, sports edition.
That's cute.
See, that's what I said. I'm like, man,
And I'm not knocking Honda Civics because I have one.
If only I
think
didn't
they're
want to
great.
wreck Nick's car and I'd show up here. Because Nick had the Nissan. He had the girl version, but it was a
know.
350Z. Was it 350?
You could say
350.
anything. You could literally make letters up and be like Nissan. I'd be like, oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
I don't even know.
Well, it's for the listeners, okay, guys?
Yeah. All three of them.
All three of them. So if they want to look it up, they can.
Anyway.
Shit. I think that's been a great first episode.
Yeah, I think we should. Well, I got to walk these dogs. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. It was a good start.
I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday's going to be a bit longer. Well, it's going to come out next Wednesday. But Thursday will be longer.
Dude, it's been 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Hour and a half because we took like 10 minutes to get drinks.
Let's just wrap it up with sort of what the plan is because we didn't really do a proper
Yeah, true. Yeah, we didn't really do an introduction. But I think going forward, there's not really gonna other than like maybe we'll have like some music at the start.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing.
It's just gonna be us starting off just
talking.
Like,
yeah, we might say live from the garage. Yeah. It's 2 C's in a pod. Welcome.
Yeah, but I think that's just. We just start talking and just go from there.
And we're going to see where it's going to go. So the plan right now is to put one out every week. Ideally on Wednesdays, that could change.
And our recording days will be either Sunday or Monday, depending on our schedules. And again, like this week coming forward, like life happens. Like you can't record Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
So we're going to record on Thursday. So if we talk about any type of news, apologize in advance. It might come to you guys late.
Yeah, this is 2 C's in a pod, and C as in the letter C, because we're both Chris and CJ, and that's why we came up with this stupid name for this podcast.
Yes, technically we are both named Chris.
Yes.
So we went with 2 C's as in Chris in a pod.
Because
like
it's a podcast. Wow. How's that?
That's amazing.
Pretty
and
smart.
that's how our brains think.
And if you're still listening to this, your brain thinks as stupid as ours.
Yeah.
Speaking of C's, we have another friend that's also named Chris.
God. He will be.
We had a friend group that consisted of 3 Chris's, or have a friend group that consists of 3 Chris's and a couple other names, but over half of the group is named Chris.
Yeah. It's actually something special.
Apparently 93
You'll get to meet all of them at some point.
Yeah.
Just don't know when.
Anyway, signing off from the garage. This is 2 C's in a pod.
We're out. Deuces.
Deuces.